What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today, as we are tantalizingly close to the release of Worlds Collide officially, Target, it's time to take a look at the most powerful creatures in Worlds Collide. Now, I've got some extra cool ones we're going to chuck on the end, but first we need to give a shout out to 5 of the 7 houses. You see, 5 of the 7 houses just don't really have any creatures that are particularly powerful on which they can hang their hat. So if we take a look at this, for instance, there are a bunch of 5 power creatures like Snag, but nothing above. If we have a little bit of a look at logos, we again have a bunch of 5 power creatures like my boy Candle Unit, but again, nothing above. Although there is a logos creature we do need to have a chat about, that's going to be coming at the end. Really nice one. Shadows actually has nothing above a 4 power. And even with 4 power, there's only actually 2 creatures that get to the giddy heights of 4 power. We've got Finch Cloak, a 4 power 0 armor creature. Again, we're not talking huge here. And a Vinder, again a 4 power 0 armor creature. We can also take a look at Grand Star Alliance. There are a few 5 power creatures. I don't know, let's give as an example Lieutenant Kaka, but nothing above that. And in Untamed, again, there's nothing above a 5 power. So I could give you an example of Kangafunt, for instance, or Gebuk, brilliantly designed creatures, but unfortunately there is nothing more powerful than that. So, yeah, we're pretty much into Anomalies, Brobnar, and the Saurian Republic if you want yourself some powerful creatures. So starting off at number 10, we've got Valoocanth, one of them their anomalies. Valoocanth is a 6 power 0 armor creature. Now, while the tide is low, it cannot actually be used. Now, by default, the tide is neither high nor low, and essentially, we don't really know what that means. Like, clearly at some point in the future, there is going to be a mechanic whereby the tide is risen or lowered. But honestly, as it stands at the moment, yeah, that doesn't actually mean anything. That is a mechanic that does not exist in the game. Now, the good news is when you fight or reap, you get to exhaust an enemy creature and each of its neighbors, so you could, in theory, take out one creature while exhausting another 3. That's pretty gosh darn good. In at number 9, another anomaly, Nizak the Forgotten, a 6 power 0 armor creature. While fighting, it gains invulnerable. Incidentally, this is why it pips Valoocanth up to 9th spot, because of the whole invulnerable while it's fighting. I mean, that's pretty gosh darn good, if I'm honest with you, ladies and gentlemen. That's pretty gosh darn nice. And of course, anomalies are very, very rare, but still. Now, after an enemy creature is destroyed fighting Nizak the Forgotten, you return that creature to its owner's hand, and honestly, this could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing. It depends on the creature. Something like Dust Pixie, returning it to your opponent's hand so they can gain 2 amber, very, very bad. But something like Khalifi Dragon that they're probably not going to be able to play again, yeah, that's pretty gosh darn good. We like this very much indeed. And that, ladies and gentlemen, concludes the anomalies portion of the video. So in at number 8, we've got Spartosaur. And Spartosaur is just over the top phenomenal. One of the very, very best creatures in the set as far as I'm concerned. 6 power, 1 armor. After a friendly creature is destroyed, you destroy each non-dinosaur creature. And that's a static ability, so as long as it's on the field, whenever any creature is destroyed of yours, regardless of how it is destroyed, yeah, you're good to go, ladies and gentlemen. You're good to go. Now, of course, it is each non-dinosaur creature that is yours and your opponent's, but come on. Get rid of every other creature, keep all your dinosaurs, jobs are good. And if you've got this in a deck that's got a bunch of other saurian creatures that are dinosaurs, and the vast majority of them are, you're good. And when you fight, you gain 2 amber. Yeah, I'm kind of in love with Spartosaur. Coming in at number 7, we've got another saurian creature. It is Cincinnatus Rex. Let's go for that one. A 6 power, 4 armor creature. So not only is it fairly powerful, it's also got really good armor. Now there is a downside here, and the downside is that if there are no enemy creatures, you destroy Cincinnatus Rex. As soon as your opponent's last creature is gone, Cincinnatus Rex also has to go. Sorry. And then when you fight, you may exalt Cincinnatus Rex. If you do, ready each other friendly card. That's kind of amazing. Now, the deal with this is, of course, that exalting takes an amber from the common pool and puts it onto the creature, such that if that creature is destroyed, your opponent then gets the amber, which started off in the common pool. But please do remember, right? This is a 6 power, 4 armor creature. It's not like your opponent's taking it down particularly easily. And, okay, you are exalting him, but you're also readying each other friendly card, so even if your opponent gets an amber later when they take out Cincinnatus Rex, if you reap with 1 creature, you get 1 amber, which is better, frankly. Because you're getting it now. And you'll probably get more than 1. Yeah, I like me some Cincinnatus Rex. In at number 6, we've got Igon the Terrible, and this is where we're starting off with the really powerful ones. Now, not to be confused with Igon the Green, although they are very much a pair of cards that work very well together, and they're even special rares. So Igon the Terrible is an 8 power, 0 armor creature. When you play it, if Igon the Green has not been purged, you destroy it. So basically, it just goes away. And there are going to be things whereby if a creature is destroyed, blah, 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 that will trigger. But generally speaking, it's kind of pointless until you've purged Igon the Green. Now, we should mention Igon the Green here, I suppose. Igon the Green, when it is destroyed, you purge it and return an Igon the Terrible from your discard pile to your hand. So what you essentially do is you play Igon the Terrible, it gets destroyed. Then you play Igon the Green, throw it at as many creatures as you can until it gets destroyed fighting. Then you purge it, and then you can play Igon the Terrible as an 8 power creature. Oh yeah, and when you fight, you steal an amber. And stealing is not something Brobnar is good at, right? So the fact that you get to do this is kind of phenomenal. All over it, ladies and gentlemen. Igon the Terrible, it's kind of awkward to get into play, but it's absolutely worth it. In at number 5, we've got Narp. Now, Narp is an 8 power, 1 armor creature. Again, I've given him a little bit of a boost because of the armor. And your neighbours cannot reap. Now, this could actually be a fairly significant downside. Not being able to reap could actually really suck. Because that means that if they've got an action, you can use it. Outside of that, you can fight. And that's it. But you might not want to fight. Fighting might take down your creature, and you might not want your creature to go down. That would be very, very bad. So frankly, yeah, what you really want here is to put this down next to creatures that want to fight, and then you've just got a really powerful creature. Remember, though, that Mega Narp is a thing, which turns into an identical creature, except it is 10 power, 1 armor, and when we've got Mega Narp rolling, oh, we like it. Although even when it gets up to 10, it still doesn't boost up past number 5. In at number 4, we've got Gron Ninetoes. Now, I almost put this as an honourable mention in the other list we'll get to in a minute, but I think it deserves to be on this list, and I actually think it deserves to be right up at number 4. Starting off, we got a 5 power creature, which doesn't sound good. Certainly it sounds like it shouldn't be on the list. But if it's damaged and survives the damage, it gets plus 4 power, turning it into a 9 power. Yes, there's going to be games where your opponent doesn't damage it till they can knock it out. And yeah, there's going to be plenty of decks where you don't have the option to damage it yourself. I get all of that. But 9 power is pretty gosh darn good. And of course, Mega Gron 9 Toes is a thing, which turns it into a 7 power creature. And while damaged, you turn into an 11 power creature, which is frankly, ladies and gentlemen, very powerful indeed. So I feel comfortable putting it on this list and saying that it's earned its spot. Coming in at number 3, yeah, we've done a bunch of Brobnar creatures. We're now back into the Saurian Republic. We've got Grimlocus Ducks. I adore Grimlocus Ducks. Love the artwork, love the design. It's basically a T-Rex, but with sensible sized arms. And it's an 11 power, 2 armor creature, which is very, very big. And it's even got Taunt, which means that the neighbours of Grimlocus Ducks cannot be attacked. You've got to go after Grimlocus Ducks itself. So try and get creatures you want to keep next to it, and then they're going to be protected. It's really nice, ladies and gentlemen. Really nice. Now, when you play it, you do have to exalt it twice, putting 2 amber on it. Yeah, that's bad, etc. There are actually good reasons to be exalted. That's a video coming later on in the week. Probably beginning of next week now. But the point is here, okay, it's exalted twice. Okay, your opponent gets 2 amber when they destroy it. But you're an 11 power creature with 2 armor. It's not like your opponent can just casually take it down. It's gonna take quite a bit to get rid of him. I don't love the double exalting, but it's rarely going to be a huge issue. In at number 2, we've got Terrordactyl. And frankly, ladies and gentlemen, we're now getting to the stage where there need to be fairly significant downsides, and there are fairly significant downsides. Terrordactyl enters play stunned, and Terrordactyl only deals 4 damage when fighting. So even though it's a 12 power creature, it can only deal 4 damage. It means it takes a lot to knock it out, but it's not taking out big stuff. Now, bearing in mind Grimlocus Ducks is an 11 power creature that actually deals 11 power, there is an argument that it is a more powerful creature, and if you wanted to swap these two around, I wouldn't be terribly upset. And it enters play stunned, which means you need to wait a turn, you play it down exhausted, next turn you unstun it, and then it's the turn after that you actually get to use it. That's really bad, but before the fight you deal 4 damage to each neighbour of the creature Terrordactyl fights. So you do actually deal 12 damage here. It's just 4 to the creature you're... Well, no, that's not strictly true. As long as the creature you're fighting has 2 neighbours, you are actually dealing 12 damage here. It's just 4 to the one you're fighting and 4 to each of its neighbours, which is, shall we say, awkward. Still very powerful, still very cool. But in at number 1, we've got Gargantodon. And let's face it, right, it's the biggest, baddest creature out there. The clue is very much in the name. It is a 16 power creature, making it the most powerful creature in terms of pure number that we've ever actually seen. That's redonk, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely redonk. Now, it does enter play stunned, and like Terrordactyl, it only deals 4 damage while fighting, so it is kind of awkward. But also, each amber that would be stolen is captured by a creature controlled by the active player instead. So they try and steal the amber, that fails, it is captured by one of their own creatures because they are the active player, and then you get to destroy that creature and get your amber back. And don't get me wrong, capturing amber's still good, but it's nowhere near as good as stealing, so I adore the fact here that you can essentially stop your opponent stealing while also having a fantastically powerful creature. Now that's my top 10 list, but there are 3 creatures who could end up on the list, though they don't initially. Let me explain. So starting off, we've got Gravelguts, a 5 power creature, so it was never going to make the list. But after an enemy creature is destroyed fighting Gravelguts, you give it 2+1 power counters. Which means it starts off at a 5, but then gets to a 7, then a 9, then an 11, and it can keep going. In theory, it could get up to a 30, 40 power creature. Would be difficult, but if you can just take down a few little creatures and then build up your power nicely, so let's say you take down a 1 power creature, they deal 1 to you, and then you end up as a 7 power. Well, then you can just kind of keep going. Now, damage will be accumulating, don't get me wrong, but hopefully you can get big enough and powerful enough that it won't really matter, and then you can take down absolutely anything. It takes a while to get up to the power, and it's not guaranteed, which is why it doesn't make the main list. But do also please bear in mind, it is after an enemy creature is destroyed fighting Gravelguts, so if they start the fight and die, you get the +2 power counters. It's really kind of cool. We then have another Saurian Republic creature that we need to be having a little bit of a chat about. It is Centurion Stenopius? Is that how we pronounce it? Might be. You never know. And it's a 3 power, 2 armor creature, so again, it's not initially that huge. But you get +3 power for each amber on it, which is either amber that you've captured, or amber that is on there by virtue of exalting, like we mentioned a moment ago. And the good news is that when you play or fight or reap, you may exalt Centurion Stenopius. Oh. So as soon as you play it down, you exalt it, boom, 6 power 2 armor. And then you reap and you exalt it again, boom, 9 power 2 armor. And then when you fight, as long as you survive the fight, you exalt it again, and then boom, +3 power. Bearing in mind that you've got the 2 armor, so if you're against a 1 or 2 power creature, you're not actually taking any damage in return, unlike Gravelguts, and of course you can reap to get the amber on to boost your power, and Centurion could get very, very silly very, very quickly. Gravelguts, you're always worried because you got to destroy the creature, so you're probably taking a bit of damage back and it gets awkward. Whereas Centurion Stenopius, you can sit there and reap and take down little creatures and never actually take any damage back, and this could get out of hand extremely quickly. And finally, Self-Bolstering AUTOMATA. This is the only non-Brobnar, non-Saurian, non-anomaly creature that we need to have a look at. And it's a 1 power creature, which doesn't look great on the face of it. But when it is destroyed, if you have any other creatures in play, then instead of destroying it, you fully heal it, exhaust it, and move it to a flank, and then give it 2 +1 power counters. So you want this to be destroyed. And then it goes to the side, fully healed, with an extra 2 power. And this can get very, very big very, very quickly. And again, you can throw it at another creature. You can start a fight to make sure it gets destroyed. That's fine. But you still get the extra power. And this will add up very, very quickly indeed. I adore this one. And like we talked about with the others, I love the fact that it keeps getting completely healed. Now don't get me wrong, if your opponent can take down every other creature and then destroy Self-Bolstering AUTOMATA last, then you do actually get destroyed and you don't come back. But that's not always going to be that easy. This is a lot of fun, and I love it. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Those are the most powerful creatures from Worlds Collide, and 3 extra that could get there with a little bit of help from their friends. But at this stage, I'd like to know what you think about these particular creatures, and if there's any others that have caught your eye. So let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and follow me on Twitter at the Wossy, where we talk about, well, all kinds of games, Keyforge, and anything else that takes a fancy. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, and so on. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.